solely the views of this particular broadcast and do not represent the views and opinions of Straightway Media, its officers, staff, and advertisers.
Whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, and welcome again to Porch Talk Radio. Today we have a couple of guests. Last week we had a guest, and because of nature, they didn't quite make it. But this week we have two guests in the studio. We're going to kind of talk a little bit about the vice presidential debate that happened last week, and a couple other things, and then we're going to have our guests speak to you about their candidacy. We have Jim Davison, who is running for City of Tampa City Council, and we have Eric Seidel, who is running for clerk of the court. All right. Now, again, we invite you to call in. Call-in number is 813-251-9867. I was disappointed at the debate because I'm one of those folks who actually listen to a debate, to listen to the issues, listen to the conversation. And back in my college days, I actually did some debating myself. So I know that there's an art to that particular game. There's rules. There's ways to maneuver in the process. And I'm just thinking to myself here, and I guess all the ones that's listening, that in a presidential debate and a vice presidential debate, that the rules of debating may have been bent, but these rules was broken, slaughtered, smashed into tiny pieces, because it was nothing resembling a real debate. I mean that's the part. I mean, they call it a debate. Maybe they should change the name, because from the one that the presidential debate and the one from the vice presidential debate, again, they need to change the name, because those were not debates. It is usually count and point and counterpoint, that you kind of look and one works off the other one. And the moderator in a real debate is usually absent. I mean, basically they sit there and they kind of point at people, and they may give you a question, and then after that they sit back and listen. And if there's a violation of the rules, I'm just kind of bringing everybody up to point here. If there's a violation of the rule, it is up to the moderator to stop, admonish, or warn someone who is violating the rules and the regulations of it. And I think, and hopefully the networks hear this, have someone that control the mics of the other candidate when it's not their time to talk. Have a slide, have a button, again, because it's disruptive, and I think that's a part of the game that they're playing. But that can easily be controlled by the media. I mean, you just cut their mic off. They can sit there and talk all they want, and the audience won't be able to hear them. I'm just telling you. So if they refuse to listen, I guess you warn them once, or you warn them twice. Then after that, you just slide the level down on their mic, and then when it's their time to talk again, you slide it up. I mean, with technology, and it's not disrespectful, because the respect in the process is it's a debate, and you got a format, and you told these people weeks ahead of time. And I'm talking about both the presidential and the vice presidential debate. You told them weeks ahead of time what the rules are. And once you give them the rules, and I'm going to say this, and I mean it the way I say it, it's been proven at some point in time that both of the presidential candidates and both of the vice presidential candidates are willing to bend the rules to their favor. So again, that in advance that's going to happen. So how do you neutralize that? The process manages itself. If you say the rules, these are the rules, you give them a warning, they violate the rules, and then you just kind of take it over. I mean, I think most of the listeners, most of the nation would appreciate that, because you actually get to hear the point, and then you get to hear the counterpoint. As opposed to at one point in time, and I'm not talking about the issues of debate, I'm talking about the debate itself and the process. All three of them, you had the moderator talking, and you had both candidates talking. Okay, no respect, cause that's what that's about. You know, everybody's trying to get their point in at the exact same time, and as a listening audience, that become extremely annoying. Because again, that's kind of like a kindergarten class, and all the kids are trying to talk at the same time. These supposed to be adults, not kids. So again, that's my point on the process. Hopefully, the next debate that's Sunday will be better. Even if the candidates aren't better, the process and the control of the process will be better. So again, if someone's not supposed to be talking, then again, we won't miss them talking to themselves because their mics will be off. Now, with that being said, Mike, I think that the Republican candidate, Pence, handled himself cordially and with tons of reserve. Because again, to not be able to finish your sentence 73 times, again, see, to me that would be annoying. I gotta say, he's a better man than me. See, because I would have, see, that's why I'm not there. See, because I was feeling like, I say, interrupt me one more time. Okay, and it's gonna be on. See, because there's a certain level of respect that happens too, especially when you're dealing with men. You know, men got that thing about respect and manliness and all that kind of stuff, and then you don't want somebody to be walking over you and showing. Because I'm gonna say Donald Trump, that's the reason he's still left, because during the process of all those debates, nobody walked on him. See, because they walked on him, he made sure, we're gonna walk on this thing together. So again, that format, you got 9, 10, 20 folks up there, is a different kind of format. And now, I think we want to hear actually what they're intending to say. If you're gonna get goaded, then you get goaded. But again, we want to bring it back to the issues and the questions. And actually, one of these guys could very well be president. Because again, both of the candidates are 60, 70 years old. Life happens. I'm the best of folks can't promise you they're gonna be around 4 or 5 months. Let's talk about 4 or 5 years. So both of these guys had the potential of being candidates, being president. Now also, issue came up that I was surprised came up. They brought up the issue of abortion, and that's been one of them non-political but political Republican issues. They kind of stayed away from that the last couple election cycle. I was actually glad it came up because it's hard for me to not think of the fact that we've legalized something that we've taken common sense out. It's degrees of life that we're measuring with that process now. I mean, considering for me and for most people who bleed the way I do, life starts at the spark, at the very beginning, at the junction. And from that point, that entity, whatever you call it, viable tissue mass or baby, whatever you call it, it's going to be a person. It's not going to be some other creature. It's not going to be a tomato. It's not going to be a watermelon. It's not going to be, a chimpanzee. It's not going to be a shark. It's going to be a person. And for us to somehow have taken that and devalued life to the point to where we can say, because it's 3 weeks, 36 weeks, or 56 weeks, it has degrees of value. It has degrees of lifeness, if there's such a word as lifeness, that it's not going to be a person at the end of this process. And so that affects me and most people who are Christian and believe that life is value. We can't say how, after a person is born, the value of their life if we don't give them a chance to be born. So again, I'm not going to go on too long with the abortion issue, but I'm just telling you how I feel about that, and the fact that it came up was important to me. All the other stuff was just basic politics. And again, we can go point by point, issue by issue, but that's not what the debate is about. The debate is about who made the biggest, best, lasting impression on the audience. And even the Democrats have said that Mike Pence won that debate. And the rest of it was just minutia. Because again, if you interrupting somebody to make a point, that's one thing. But the rules of debate is don't let your opponent dictate your answers. Because see, they want and looking for a particular